Now is the time to sign up for hunter education courses around the state. We are visiting with Hunter Education Coordinator Brian Schaefer to find out all the details. I'm Mike Anderson with the North Dakota Game and Fish Department. Brian, why is now the time to sign up for hunter education courses?
You know, it's with our hunting seasons wrapping up here pretty quickly. People aren't thinking about next hunting season already, but with hunter education, the vast majority of our classes are taught from about middle of January through June. And that was historically the case just due to everyone being in the deer lottery in mid-June. But we've started teaching a few other courses, trying to get courses developed throughout the summer, but the vast majority still occur during the winter months here in North Dakota. So if you used the apprentice option last year or you're in need of hunter education, now would be the time to start looking.
Brian, who's required to have a hunter education course?
So in North Dakota, anyone who's born after December 31st, 1961 is required to have taken a state certified hunter education course. So anyone in the state of North Dakota who was born here and grew up here, or anyone who's moved to North Dakota, if they haven't taken hunter education in their state or their state's requirements were a little bit different that didn't require them to have it, we're seeing more and more people move to North Dakota, and so make sure you're up to date with your state laws versus what North Dakota requires as well.
How does somebody sign up for a hunter education course?
So the best way to get notifications is to go to our website and sign up for text and email alerts and select the hunter education option for that. And so what that'll do is every time we list a class on our online course listing, it'll shoot you a text message and tell you the location of those courses throughout the state. So if you only some of our smaller cities throughout the state only have 1 or 2 courses a year, so it's important that if you live in one of those smaller communities, that you do get signed up for those text or email alerts so you're made aware of those courses.
Those classes fill up pretty quick.
Correct. In some of our larger cities, our courses can fill up quick, especially early on in the year. Bismarck, Fargo, Grand Forks, some of those locations, it's important to get into those classes. If it fits for your schedule, the earlier you get it taken care of, the better. But just because you don't get into that first one in some of our larger locations doesn't mean there's not going to be more courses available throughout the year. The online course listing only shows current courses that are available, and we don't list those courses more than 2 to 3 weeks out. So just keep an eye out.
Brian, there's a couple different options for taking a hunter education course. Explain the traditional option first.
So historically, since 1979, the vast majority of our courses were what we call our traditional course, which is 14 hours of in-person instruction with our volunteer instructors. Covers everything from landowner relations to firearm safety, wildlife conservation, and that's all done in person. Varies from 4 or 5 nights, 6 nights, depending on the instructor and their schedules. And it's done all in person. And from PowerPoints to videos and hands-on equipment. And then we also have what we call our home study course, which is essentially a hybrid between online learning and in person. And for the home study course, we have still the first night of class, which is about 2.5 or 3 hours, where you go over all the firearms, hands-on stuff with firearms, loading, unloading, crossing fences, getting in and out of vehicles, and then some North Dakota specific content like landowner relations and some of our regulations. And then you go home and you have 2 weeks to complete the online material, which varies from student from anywhere from 8 to 10 hours. It has chapter quizzes throughout that you need to pass before you can move on to the next one. And then you come back and for the second night of class, and you still take the same written exam and same practical exam that every student in North Dakota is required to take.
And they have to pass that?
Correct. Yep. It's a pass or fail. It's a knowledge comprehension, and then you also have to demonstrate that you can handle a firearm safely.
Brian, you see kids, adults, women, men. We're reaching a milestone with the hunter education course this year.
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. We're going to be hitting 250,000 graduates here this coming year, and that's a testament to all our volunteers from Grand Forks to Bowman who teach hunter ed in their communities. Some of them have been teaching it since the program's inception, and it's really quite the accomplishment in a state that doesn't even have 1 million people living in it, that over the last 40 or so years we've taught over 250,000 hunter education students and made hunting safer, not just for hunters, but everyone in North Dakota.
Always looking for volunteers.
Correct, yeah. We're always looking for people with a passion of sharing their knowledge. And it's not just, you know, teaching a 14-hour course in your community. If you just want to be involved a little bit and help out on test night in your community, just give us a call and we can start that process. Pretty simple paperwork that we got to get filled out and get back from you. But there's a way to get involved in your community. We certainly appreciate any help we can get.
Brian, what's the end goal for the hunter education course?
So hunter education was developed in the 1950s in different parts of the country and implemented here in 1979 by state law. And the goal of hunter ed is to reduce the number of accidents that are occurring in the field. Primarily in the 50s, it was looking at reducing the number of fatalities that were occurring. And so it's done a great job of doing that nationwide. And so what we want people to take away from hunter ed is the basics of firearm safety. A lot of the other information in there is great for hunters, landowner relations, wildlife conservation, but the primary goal is to reduce the number of incidents we're seeing in the field. And so it's something we need to remember, especially as people are handling firearms less and less at younger ages, which we're seeing statewide. A lot of those individuals are handling firearms for the first time in hunter ed. And so if you're taking someone new or you are that new hunter, handling firearms safely isn't something you learn in a classroom in 14 hours. It's something you need to be dedicated to for your entire life. And I think that's something we see with quite a few of our incidents. It's generally not those young hunters that are having these incidents in the field. It's our, you know, hunters that are somewhere closer to your age or my age, Mike. And so it's important for everyone to remember that hunter education and firearm safety is everyone's responsibility, and it's something we need to be proficient with throughout our lifetime. And sometimes that's just a simple conversation with the people we're hunting with, or for you to think about it before you load your firearm and head a field. Just go over some of those basic firearm safety.
A lot of great information, Brian. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.